Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Unacademy's YouTube channel and welcome to my session. My name is Lakshmi Kushwaha and I am verified educator teaching on Plus platform of Unacademy. So you can follow me on Unacademy for the various classes related to industrial relations and labor welfare, HRM, OB, and your legislation. I'm holding 4.5 years of professional experience and 1.10 years of teaching and on an academy. The subject code 55 is something that I'm teaching. Okay, and yes, for any kind of course related to labor legislation, any kind of exam related to labor legislation, you can follow my courses. You would definitely get benefited from it. Right, Komal, good evening. How are you? Okay, so everyone, welcome to the session. Today's our industrial relation approaches part 3. So it's little bit slower, I believe. The internet connection, so I'm not able to see the comments right now. Okay, fine. So do follow me on the link if you haven't. Meanwhile, others are joining. I believe those who are following me on Academy, those who are looking or seeing my classes on an academy have must have enrolled for this series. If not, please do enroll. This is the series where we are discussing the topics which has been already asked in exam in 2020, which ultimately forms an important part for your coming exam, right? So enroll yourself, and even if you are whenever you are going for the first time on my special class, do use Lakshmi 12 as the code. And this, yes, EPFO, Social Security Code, those who are preparing for EPFO, right? The Social Security is very important topic, even for NET or even any kind of PSU. So I'm done with these classes. These are free of cost, free live classes. If you want to get benefited, again, you can go on my profile and see the classes, download the PDF for free. And if you have missed this top 50 MCQ, do again visit the profile, go through the class. This 50 MCQs are going to be very useful. Upcoming, we would be doing 28th and 31st, two marathons, okay, of 3 hour session. That would be a 3 hour session where would be again discussing some moderate and tricky level question, conceptual questions from exam point of view. So I would be sharing it, the link, and launching the courses. Keep checking out the profile and enroll yourself for this marathon as well. And yes, the batch course, Priyashi ma'am and myself are taking the batch course on an academy for the subject code 55. She's taking the paper, the unit 1 to 5. I'm taking from 6 to 10. Okay, so I'm taking the legislation right now. So enroll yourself, get the subscription, and yes, do use my code Lakshmi 12 or Lakshmi Live. Whenever you are subscribing, you can get 10% off on that subscription. If I have to talk about the benefit, you can access unlimited of the classes live or recorded for all the educators, paper 1, paper 2, whoever are teaching in NTA, right? So do get the subscription, get benefited. It's worth of your money. Fine. Kushbu, good evening. Roshni, good evening. How are you? Fine. So yes, the prices are going to rise on 25th. If you haven't, if you're planning, do subscribe before the price rises for the subscription. Okay. Fine, we would be starting the session. Just 1 minute wait. Others, if they are willing to join, we would be starting the class. We are on the approaches of industrial relations. We have already done with system approach, psychological approach, industrial sociology approach, the human relation, the Gandhian approach, the HRM approach. So this we would be revising once at the end of this class. Right now, we would be starting from the matrix approach, the Giri approach, the pluralist approach, and social action approach. So, all these four are remaining in approaches that we would be covering today. Earlier one, once we are done with this four approach, I would be revising them once again. Yes, Rohini, yes, how are you? Okay, fine. Done? Money, good evening. How are you, Money? Nice to see you. Fine, everyone set. Let's see. We done with the approaches of industrial relation का मतलब क्या? These are the number of the approaches, means a way of looking towards maintaining the industrial relation or way of having good industrial relation into the organization. So number of the authors came up with the different approaches. We are doing it one by one. So today we would be doing the Marxist approach. So Marx is the Karl Marx, who was the one, Karl Marx was the one who basically believed that there is always a conflict between capital and labor. Capital means employer and labor means employer. He was with the interpretation, or you can say he was always the belief, with the belief that wherever there are two people, the capitalist and your labor, there would be a conflict. For natural there would be a conflict, because industrial relation itself is the reason for the conflict. He always talked about the conflict between the capitalist and the labor. So his approach towards the industrial relation is of capitalism and your labor, right? Let's see them now. Priyanka, good evening, how are you? It's okay, Money. It's okay. That's fine. I know some of the classes are not in your syllabus. Whichever class is in your syllabus, you can attend that, right? Okay, fine. So Marxist social thinking and interpretation derives the class conflict analysis of industrial relations. So what is the class conflict here mean? Derives the class conflict analysis, means there are two classes. We call them as the capital and we call them as the labor. Two classes. Now capital is the employer and labor is the employee. Okay, so according to him, he defines that the industrial relation arises out of the relation between these two classes. So he interpreted that there is a conflict, class conflict analysis of industrial relation. It is a method of social inquiry into power relationship of society and a way of interpreting the social reality. For him, again, for him, he looked towards the industrial relation with the society perspective. मतलब wherever the industry is located, वहाँ पे the capital would have some power, the labor would have some power in relation to society, and that is what it represents, the social reality. Industrial relations are market relations, essentially politicized as the part of the class struggle. They are the market relation. Now what is the market relation? मतलब the capital and the labor, एक एम्प्लॉय और एम्प्लॉयर के बीच में जो रिलेशन है इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन का, या एज एन एम्प्लॉयर और कैपिटल, दैट्स ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ द मार्केट, दैट्स ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ द एम्प्लॉयमेंट. ठीक है, एंड दैट इज एसेंशियली अ पार्ट ऑफ द क्लास स्ट्रगल. Marx put it as the mode of production in the material life determines the general character of social, political, and spiritual process of life. So, the mode of production in the material life, the mode of production means the way the things are produced in material. What are the materialistic thing for us? Whatever we purchase, the commodity we purchase, ठीक है, द वे दे आर प्रोड्यूस्ड, द वे दे आर प्रोड्यूस, वो डिफाइन करती है कि हमारा सोशल कैरेक्टर, सोसाइटी में सोशल कैरेक्टर क्या है, पॉलिटिकल कैरेक्टर क्या है, और स्पिरिचुअल कैरेक्टर क्या है, ये स्पिरिचुअल प्रोसेस क्या है. उदय, गीता, गुड इवनिंग गीता, हाउ आर यू? ठीक है. Characterized by the struggle of the classes to consolidate and strengthen their respective position with a view to exerting greater influence on each other, equated with the power struggle. अब मुझे अगर इस चीज को समराइज करना है कि मार्क्सिस्ट ने क्या अप्रोच दी इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन के लिए, सो मार्क्सिस्ट ने ये कहा कि देयर इज अ टू क्लासेस, कैपिटल एंड लेबर. और हर वक्त this every time these two classes, the employer and the employee, they try to consolidate or strengthen their respective position. यानी कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयर चाहेगा कि उसकी पोजीशन स्ट्रांग रहे, उसका पल्ला भारी रहे, whereas the labor wants his requirement to get fulfilled. He would be trying to strengthen his side, his position, and they would be alternately influencing each other or putting the pressure on each other, which is called as the power struggle. So industrial relation is nothing but a class struggle between the capital and the labor, which is also called as the power struggle. Everyone clear the Marxist approach? So it can be equated as the power struggle. Bharti, good evening. How are you? Everyone clear? Let's move to next. The Giri approach. So now the VV Giri, a labor minister who later became the president of India, he gave two basic important things in order to maintain the industrial relationship or for maintaining the industrial dispute. See, he himself was the labor minister, he himself was the part of the labor union or something, where he realized जहाँ पे डिस्प्यूट होते हैं, डिस्प्यूट मीन्स इट कैन बी स्ट्राइक, there can be number of conflict. Industrial dispute can be in any form, your strike, your lockout, your picketing, your slowdown, anything can be in the form of the industrial dispute. So VV Giri के हिसाब से if you have to settle this industrial dispute or in order to prevent this industrial dispute, it is very important to do collective bargaining and mutual negotiation. He said there should be a voluntary efforts. Voluntary effort put करने चाहिए मैनेजमेंट को और ट्रेड यूनियन को उनके बीच के डिफरेंसेस को रिमूव करने के लिए rather than involving the third person. So he basically focused on mutual negotiation, collective bargaining and voluntary efforts. For what? For solving the industrial dispute and maintaining the industrial relation. So given by VV Giri, the labor minister and later became the president of India, supported collective bargaining and mutual negotiation for the settlement of industrial dispute. He was the opinion that voluntary effort on the part of management and the trade unions for binding up their differences is a tonic to the industry, and any compulsion from the outside may bitter the machine. Means if you are the two people in the organization, if you have the dispute between two of you, then you should try to solve it by voluntary effort. अपने बीच के problems खुद ही solve करो rather than bringing someone outside which may can worsen your situation. अगर उनको नहीं पता होगा what exactly the dispute reason for the dispute is, it may worsen the situation. So he talked about mutual negotiation, voluntary efforts. Emphasis on industrial peace can be secured through a machinery of collective bargaining. He talked about collective bargaining, come together, sit together, have the discussion, negotiate the things, do the collective bargaining, come to the midpoint. Trade union should grow strong and self-reliant without the assistance of any outsider. Trade union, हमारे इंडिया में the biggest problem with the trade union is that the people, the workers, the laborers who are the part of the trade union are uneducated. They are not aware of their rights. Second, the political power, the third party mostly influence this trade union, and the reason is they are not educated, not aware of their rights. So in order to maintain good industrial relation, VV Giri said trade union should be self-reliant, strong enough to work alone rather than the assistance of any outsider. Mutual settlement of dispute through voluntary arbitration and not compulsory adjudication. सो वॉलेंट्री आर्बिट्रेशन का मतलब आर्बिट्रेशन मतलब आप थर्ड पार्टी के पास जा रहे हो, वो आपका डिस्प्यूट सॉल्व कर रहा है. सो इट शुड बी वॉलेंट्रीली, मीन्स इफ यू आर अप्रोचिंग द थर्ड पार्टी एज वेल, इट शुड बी म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिटवीन बोथ ऑफ देम. यानी दो लोग हैं, एम्प्लॉय है, एम्प्लॉयर है, दोनों ने डिसाइड किया कि हम लोगों का बीच का प्रॉब्लम आपस में कलेक्टिव बार्गेनिंग से सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है. सो वी वुड अप्रोच द थर्ड पीपल whom we know, right? We know he would be independent and we know that he can solve our problem. So this is voluntary arbitration. Now arbitration, he would be giving whatever settlement, whatever decision he would be giving, you would be agreeing to it. That is the voluntary arbitration. Compulsory adjudication matlab the last and at most, you can say the last and at most way of solving the industrial dispute is adjudication. जहां अपने आप solve नहीं होती problem, तब the government come, the labor code, the industrial tribunal, the national tribunal, they come into between and they give the settlement or the award. That is then binding. So this should be avoided. According to him, there should be a voluntary arbitration. Done. Everyone clear? So VV Giri ने क्या बताया? that there should be a collective bargaining. Dispute should be handled by mutual negotiation. In order to maintain the industrial peace, voluntary arbitration should be taken as the step rather than any compulsory adjudication. Done? Clear, everyone? Do reply me so that if not, I can repeat it. If yes, we can move ahead. Okay. The ninth one ninth one is the pluralist approach. Now here the term pluralist means Kaur has given this approach. Kaur has given the pluralist approach. Khushbu, yes, okay. Khushbu is also there. Khushbu, good evening. How are you? So Kaur, pluralist approach, matlab kya? Plural. The word plural here means instead of a single person, it means a group of the person. So he pluralism is basically talking about two people, labor and management. प्लूरलिज्म यानी दो क्लासेस हैं, दो चीजें हैं, लेबर है और मैनेजमेंट है. ठीक है. सो कर वन ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ is the important exponents of pluralism. So if there is the question who was the exponent or who is known as the exponent of the pluralism, to Kerr, who suggested that social environment is an important factor in industrial conflict. इनके हिसाब से जो भी इंडस्ट्रियल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अराइज होते हैं, द सोशल फैक्टर मीन्स the society where the employee is living, the status that he is holding, the family that he have, his own requirement, everything affects or can be the reason for industrial conflict. Means अगर उसकी social requirement fulfill नहीं हो रही है, it would result a kind of a disagreement between employee and employer, and ultimately there would be an industrial conflict. Pluralism is major theory in labor management relations. The isolated of masses of workers are more strike prone. When the industrial jobs become more pleasant, employees get integrated into wider society, strike becomes less. So isolated masses of worker. Isolated means separated. Okay, if you are separating you, if you are isolating the workers from your organization, not considering them as the part of the organization, they are more strike prone. They would feel unattached and they would go for the strike, and there would be no good industrial relation. So next line says when industrial job becomes more pleasant. So when you provide them the facility, provide them with the good wages, they become more pleasant for the employees. They get integrated towards that society, means the industry where they are working, and strikes become less. According to Ross and Herman, so he was the other one who gave his view, claimed that there has been a decline in strike activity all over the world in spite of increase in union membership. So this was the statement given by him. Okay, there, though the number of trade unions are increasing day by day, there is the decline in the strike. Why? Because the importance is given to labor management relation. Uski wajah se strike are decreasing, though there is increase in number of the unions. According to Flander, conflict is inherent in the industrial system, need of formal system of collective bargaining as a method of conflict resolution. Flanders said conflict under the pluralist approach, he said जो conflict है that is inherent, means इंडस्ट्री में अगर दो लोग काम करेंगे, people, there would be employer, there would be the capital, there would be the labor management, trade union, obviously there would be a conflict. It is not important that at every point of time both of them would be agreeing. So दोनों के बीच में conflict होता है, बट इस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को रिमूव करने के लिए एक फॉर्मल सिस्टम होना चाहिए कलेक्टिव बार्गेनिंग का, दैट विल हेल्प to remove this conflict. Then according to Fox, distinguish two different aspects of relationship between worker and management. He gave two aspects of relationship between worker and management. मतलब किन दो तरीके से the relationship between the worker and management can be explained. Market relationship concerned with the terms and condition of labor. So as I explained you, जो market relationship है employee और employer का, market relationship यानी जो वो काम कर रहे हैं, द टर्म्स एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट, द वर्क दे आर डूइंग, एम्प्लॉयमेंट से रिलेटेड जो रिलेशनशिप है, दैट इज टर्म्ड एज द मार्केट रिलेशनशिप. Second, management dealing with the labor, the nature of their interaction, negotiation, distribution of power, participation of union in joint decision making. Another relation is the management labor relation. जो कैसे होता है, how does it happens? That it happens by interaction, by distributing the powers between both of them, employer के पास भी employee के पास भी, participation in the union, involvement in the decision making. So by the market relationship, दो चीजें, market relationship यानी आपके employment से related activities define the market relationship. Next is management and labor relationship, dealing with it in a proper way through interaction, negotiation, distributing the power, giving them an opportunity to participate in the joint decision making. So this is the pluralistic approach. Yes, everyone. Good evening, Mithun. How are you? How are you, Mithun? So everyone understood the pluralistic approach? क्या है pluralistic approach मतलब? Kerr is the exponent of pluralism. Pluralist मतलब कि एक नहीं, but the industrial relation consists of two actors, labor and management. Or if you are isolating the workers from your industry, they are more to strike prone, वो ज़्यादा strike पे जाएंगे, they would be more you can say बहुत unsatisfied होंगे, and ultimately there would be more strike. But जो प्लेजेंट वर्किंग एनवायरनमेंट में काम करते हैं, वो इंटीग्रेटेड हैं, दे वर्क विद द सोसाइटी, दे वर्क विद द इंडस्ट्री, और स्ट्राइक्स आर लेस देन फ्लैंडर, फॉक्स और इनके कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द प्लूरलिस्ट अप्रोच. ठीक है, नाउ लेट्स मूव टू द 10th, द सोशल एक्शन अप्रोच. नाउ व्हाट इज द सोशल एक्शन अप्रोच? Originated from Webrian sociology. Social approach says social action, so it is the behavior. ठीक है, it is the social, how the individual, a single person's behavior is influenced by social structure or vice versa. Social action approach studies the behavior influences, way in which an individual influence the social structure and makes the society. Individual influence, एक single person, ठीक है, एक single person is there. He, how does he influences the society? How does he makes the structure of society? So social action approach is talking about the behavior of the person, of the individual, in framing the social structure and making the society, designing the society. So कैसे हमारा behavior as an individual डिफाइन करता है या इन्फ्लुएंस करता है सोसाइटी में. सी, वी ऑल आर इन हैबिट ऑफ, हम लोग मूवीज देखते हैं. देर आर नंबर ऑफ द मूवीज जिन्हें, जो हमारी लाइफ में या सोशल बिहेवियर को इन्फ्लुएंस करती आई है, राइट? सो दिस सोशल एक्शन अप्रोच वही चीज है कि हाउ योर बिहेवियर एट द इंडस्ट्री, your behavior at the industry with the humans or with the worker influences the society. So behavior at work is influenced by quality of human relation management and nature of technology. So behavior at work, आपका बिहेवियर क्या है वर्क से रिलेटेड? पॉजिटिव है, नेगेटिव है, मोटिवेटेड है, डीमोटिवेटेड है, ये किससे अफेक्ट होता है? दिस इज अफेक्टेड बाय द क्वालिटी ऑफ रिलेशनशिप द वर्कर्स आर हैविंग विद द मैनेजमेंट and the technology. Obviously the technology, if the employee knows the technology, उनका behavior positive रहेगा. टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं आती, नहीं है, नेगेटिव रहेगा. Then comes your Webrian approach, give the importance to control as well as to the power struggle to control work organization. He said कि पावर होती है, पावर, देयर शुड बी अ पावर और देयर इज अ पावर फॉर एम्प्लॉय एंड एम्प्लॉयर, बट देयर शुड बी अ प्रॉपर कंट्रोल एज वेल. कंट्रोल करना चाहिए. अगर आपको ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में दो लोगों के बीच में पावर है, पावर स्ट्रगल हो रहा है, तो यू शुड यूज द कंट्रोल. कंट्रोल इन द सेंस रूल्स, रेगुलेशंस, पॉलिसीज एंड ऑल. ठीक है, इन्फ्लुएंसिंग पावर नहीं होना चाहिए कि अपना डोमिनेट करते जा रहे हैं, एम्प्लॉयर डोमिनेट करते जा रहे हैं. देयर आर द रूल्स, कंट्रोल होना चाहिए. रूल्स हैं, रेगुलेशंस हैं, जिनको मानकर एम्प्लॉयर आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. एनालिसिस ऑफ इम्पैक्ट ऑफ द टेक्नो इकोनॉमिक एंड पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल चेंजेस on trade union structure and the process. So he talked about impact of economic, political, organizational changes on trade union structure and process. So it is all about social action, how your behavior influences the society, how your behavior at work get influenced by relationship, how this power struggle between employee and employer can be controlled, and what is the impact of technology, economy, political, organizational structure, or the changes on trade union. Done? Everyone clear the social action approach? समझ में आ रहा है? You're getting the points? So we did the last four approaches for the industrial relation. That was your Marxist, the Giri approach, the pluralistic approach, the social action. So Karl Marx ने कहा क्लास स्ट्रगल है, दो लोगों के दो पावर्स, दो क्लासेस हैं, एम्प्लॉय की, एम्प्लॉयर की, दोनों अपनी अपनी पोजीशन को कंसोलिडिएट करने की, स्ट्रेंथन करने की कोशिश करते हैं, राइट? वीवी गिरी सेड yes, conflict is there, but there should be a voluntary effort. There should be a voluntary effort, collective bargaining, voluntary arbitration instead of involving the third party. Pluralist approach, again it said there, when you are isolating the people from, or the workers from the organization, they would be more strike prone. So maintain the relationship, provide them with the factors, use the collective bargaining for removing the conflict. Social action approach given by Webb. So action, social action, the influence of the behavior of the individual on the social structure and the society. And he talked about giving the control, using the control for power struggle in order to maintain the power struggle in the organization. So these are the four approaches we did today. ठीक है, I would just revise last two sessions में हमने जो किया, system approach, the psychological approach, the industrial sociology approach. So I will give you the curse of everything. John Dunlop ने कहा तीन the industrial relation is a system which consists of three agents: management, organization, workers, or government agencies. He talked about three factors. Yeah, there are number of the factors. सिस्टम में बहुत सारे इंटरनल और एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो इस सिस्टम को इफेक्ट करते हैं, इस इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन को इफेक्ट करते हैं. साइकोलॉजिकल अप्रोच, मेसॉन हैरी के हिसाब से जो इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन है, आइदर पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव, इट इज रूटेड इन द परसेप्शन. मतलब अगर मेरा परसेप्शन टुवर्ड्स माय एम्प्लॉयर इज गुड, if I perceive that my employer is good, I would have good relation. And if I don't perceive it, it's all about perception. So if both the parties are having different perception on certain point, there would be a conflict. G. Magrisson gave the industrial sociology approach. According to this approach, there is you can say industry, there always occur a internal relation in intra-industry, and extra means outer level. So there is the conflict inside the industry as well as the outside. Internal level or internal conflict can be resolved within the organization, but the conflict arising due to the society, ठीक है, it cannot be resolved at the intra level. ठीक है. Next we did human relation. Keith Davis, he talked about all thing about maintaining the human relation. He talked about that human relation or the industrial relation are developed, or it is defined as the integration of the people coming together, working collectively, producing collectively with economic, social, and your psychological satisfaction. He said if you want to have the good in human relationship, you need to make the people produce, cooperate under the mutual of interest, gain the satisfaction of relationship. MK Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, non-violent, there should be a strike, abuse and use of the strike in the proper way, non-violence, relationship, imminence faith in the goodness. ठीक है. He talked about considering the labor as the part of the organization in order to maintain the good industrial relation. Human relation, HRM approach, using the different components of human resource management can be planning, organizing, development, performance appraisal, utilization. These are the components. So using all the components of human resource management for maintaining the relationship. So it more emphasized on individual, means collective relation nahi. It talked about employee and the management relation. He talked about individualism in the HRM approach. ठीक है? What is the difference between sociology approach and pluralist approach? Sociology approach and pluralist approach, coming to that, this one, pluralist approach is प्लूरलिज्म, यानी हमारा जो प्लूरलिज्म यानी आप दो लोगों की बात करोगे, कलेक्टिवली बात करोगे, दैट इज द प्लूरलिज्म. ठीक है. सोशियोलॉजी यानी सोसाइटी, सोसाइटी इन्फ्लुएंस, सोसाइटी का इन्फ्लुएंस है. प्लूरलिस्ट इज यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट टू पीपल, नंबर ऑफ द फैक्टर्स और नंबर ऑफ द मासेस टुगेदर, लेबर मैनेजमेंट का रिलेशन, सोशल एनवायरमेंट. ठीक है. और सोशियोलॉजी इज ऑल अबाउट सोसाइटी के इफेक्ट्स क्या हैं. ठीक है. सोशल प्लूरलिस्टिक अप्रोच इज मोर अबाउट environmental factors that causes the industrial conflict. Okay, so here this were the 10 relation approaches of industrial relation. I believe you found it useful, you understood it. You can ask me any question related to industrial relation approach. Any questions? So we done with the industrial, हमने approaches of industrial relation कर लिए हैं. Now we would be moving to types of trade unionism. ठीक है. ट्रेड यूनियन, क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ ट्रेड यूनियनिज्म एक्चुअली क्या है. सो नेक्स्ट सेशंस we would be considering, we would be studying the classification of trade unions. ठीक है. So thank you everyone for being there, and if you like it, do like the class, comment. And tomorrow we would be, morning we have the plus session, and evening we would be having your special class. So morning में भी कल हमारा special class है. So morning also we have organizational structure. ठीक है. मॉर्निंग में भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर, ये हमारा स्पेशल क्लास है. और इवनिंग में भी वी हैव द स्पेशल क्लास. टुमारो इज 23rd एंड बोथ ऑफ द क्लासेस आर स्पेशल. सो टुमारो नो प्लस क्लास. टुमारो इज योर स्पेशल क्लास फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बिहेवियर. ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल के स्ट्रक्चर कौन से होते हैं? फ्लैट, योर नंबर, व्हाट टाइम? मॉर्निंग रोहिणी, इट इज मॉर्निंग 8. इट वुड बी एट 8. ठीक है. 8 AM. Evening topic is, let me check it once. It is something which is related to series. ठीक है. Would share it, money. Fine. So thank you everyone for being there. Give your comments, give your feedback after this session if you find it useful.